You keep telling me to improve myself in this breakup, to work on myself. How the hell am I supposed to work on myself? What am I supposed to do? Hey folks, Jim Miller helping you find and keep the love of your life and write a better love story. Going to ask, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. Should be right in this corner here. When you do that, I'd appreciate if you tick the bell icon. That way you're notified whenever I upload new content. Also, would like to ask you to give me a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. You're going to love what I have to say. And comment down below. It helps me grow the channel, and I really do appreciate it if you do. I appreciate the interaction. I appreciate hearing people's thoughts. It means a lot to me, and it helps me to figure out what people want to hear. So with that, let me jump into the content here. And I've talked about this numerous times, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's something that's incredibly important. At the end of this message, I want to read an email from a guy that I got here that's really an inspiration, and I kind of want to show you where he is. I can't. Where he was just this desperate kid that they're all kids to me. He was just this desperate kid that had lost his girlfriend, and where he is now, and what he's done along the path. But anyway, let's get right into the content. How do I improve myself? How do I become better after a breakup? Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do. I'm going to tell you what I've done, some of the things that I have done that have really helped me when I was in a breakup, when I was at my lowest, and I get there too, trust me, because I'm an old dude. Doesn't mean that my heart doesn't get broken, doesn't mean that I don't sit on the couch and cry, doesn't mean that I can't feel those feelings as well. But there's a couple of things that I would recommend. Now, number one is I saw a therapist, not professionally per se. I refer in a lot of my videos, I refer in my blog posts and whatnot like that, and a lot of the emails that I had a friend of mine who's a retired therapist, and we kind of worked out a deal where I do computer work, and I kind of helped him with his computer stuff and his setting up his TV and his surround sound and things like that, and he kind of gives me some time where he sits and listens to me and talks and helps me. Therapy sometimes gets a bad rap, but it's really quite good. I mean, it's not psychotherapy, not laying on the couch where he's digging in there. But he kind of helps me by asking me questions and whatnot like that, and kind of pointing me in a direction that he thinks, where I am. And it's really helped a lot. This is something that has helped me a lot. It's really helped me to grow as a person. The second thing that I've done, and I've talked about this before too, folks, is that I wrote my feelings down. Now, this doesn't help everybody, but there's a lot of people that have reported to me, I filled up these little books here. I filled up like a couple of those in the first couple of months after my girlfriend and I broke up. And basically, I just spend time writing down my feelings. That's what I would do, is I would write down my feelings. Sometimes those feelings were nothing more than a love letter that I wrote to her. Sometimes there was angry bile I was spewing towards her and whatnot like that. But the fact of the matter is, these were my feelings. This is stuff she's never going to read. And actually, I gave her one of the love letters when we got back together. But it's something that helped me to get my feelings out, to help me understand. If you bottle those feelings up, if you push them down, you repress them, what's going to happen is eventually they're going to boil up and come out. So as the feelings come, it's important to process them and work through them and deal with them. Another thing that I did was I surrounded myself with what I call the well of love, and I got that from my therapist friend. A well of love. You think of a well, it's full of cold water, and when you're thirsty, you dunk down in there and drink. My children are a tremendous well of love for me. They're adults now, but they're tremendous. I have a great relationship with them. I love them dearly. They both have their own lives. They live away from me. But to be around them, to be able to spend some time with them, to be able to talk to them, not bellyache about my problems and whatnot, but to be able to talk to them and to really spend some good quality time with them. Other friends, I have a group of good friends that, a lot of those, let's be honest, I kind of pushed them away when I was in the relationship. So I kind of reattached myself to those people and, kind of found some things to do there. Kind of pushed myself outside of the envelope that I normally would. But I found that well of love and kind of, stayed within it close, I found things that I like to do to keep me busy and learn something in the process. I actually started a business, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of work and whatnot that's involved in it, but it kept me very busy. It kept my mind occupied. It was something I was interested in. And I realized down the road somewhere that I was kind of good at what I was looking at, and I learned a lot in the process. Learn something new. This is good. If maybe you want to pick up a musical instrument, I picked up a guitar, and I will be honest with you, I suck at it. I suck. I suck. But I can play a few chords, and sometimes I'll be sitting around the living room and I'll just strum out a couple of chords, and there's no one here to listen, so no one's going to give me a hard time. It sounds like hell, but I like it. It's something that you can do. These things that'll keep you busy in between the times when you're dealing with the feelings. The number 5 thing that I did realistically was I started taking better care of myself. Huge, huge. You want to get depressed, start looking at the nutrition labels on food, some of the food that you have around the house. You realize how much sodium and garbage is in there. And I know a lot of you are probably in your 20s, you're thinking, old man, I'm good. Trust me, I can live forever. And I thought that too, I still do. But I looked at my refrigerator and it was full of what I call stoner food, Eggos and frozen pizza and garbage like that. Some frozen dinners, microwave dinners and things like that. And I started eating a little bit better. I started sleeping a little bit better. I started exercising. I had put on a few pounds, and I started exercising, doing some push-ups and some walking and some things like that, and starting to throw those pounds back on, unfortunately. But it happens. But I started taking better care of myself, better physical care of myself, and as a result of that, I felt better. You feel better physically, and exercise is wonderful for stress reduction. I'll tell you what, when you do that, you pump up the endorphins in your bloodstream, or you release the endorphins in your brain, which is a feel-good chemical from what I understand, or at least from what I've heard. You can look it up on the internet. It's got to be true, right? Anyway, exercise is really good for getting that stress and that strain out, especially if you're angry, those feelings that come to you. Exercise is great for working through those. So those are some things that I did to improve myself. I found ways to do things that interested me and to really be able to start feeling some more self-love. That's what it's all about. There's an old saying that, the best way to get over someone, or the best way to get over a breakup, is to fall in love with somebody else. So I fell in love with myself, and it's the best damn relationship I've ever had. Kind of neat. But here's something that I wanted to talk about. This is a young kid. I'm going to read his email. I'm going to just skim over it because there's some details in there that I don't want to divulge. But he's a young kid, younger kid, college kid, got broken up with before Christmas. She sat down with him and, hey, you know what? I can't grow as an individual. I want to move on. I have to, this is holding me back and whatever else. And he was devastated. God, I've been there. He was devastated. He's like, what can I do? I did this, and he made some mistakes initially, wanted to beg and plead, wanted to send her some angry texts and things like that are not good in the long run. But then he finally decided to back down. Like I said, a lot of email exchanges back and forth. And I got this email from him a little while back, right after he went back to school. I'm going to turn my monitor on. It's going to reflect on my glasses. Sorry. But basically, I want to read this because this is gold. This is just gold to me. Just got back to school, and things heated up pretty fast. The first day back, my ex ran into me, started a conversation. We talked for a bit. She was very awkward. She hugged me multiple times and continued to talk to me. She left to go do something. She came back to talk to him some more. He says she kept inching towards him. Body language, people. Kept inching towards him in the dorm. They had a deep conversation about how they left things, on bad terms after the breakup, and she asked if they were on good terms now, and he, of course, said, yeah, we're on good terms. And he was very confident and composed. This is what I love. He was very confident and composed. He had done a lot of work on himself, and he realized that, this thing may not work out. I hope that it does, but it may not work out. And he really developed the mindset. This is where your ex is, right here. The mindset is what's going to make that work or not, okay? She stressed about the relationship, got toxic, and they both did bad things to each other. He said he understood, and he told her that it was probably for the best. Now she was surprised. His answer surprised her, and she kept testing him with similar statements. And he kept composed, he kept confident, and she was a little shocked by that, I think. He said at one point they were in kissing distance, and she kept leaning in closer, and he was like, well, why are you doing this? Kind of thing. Then she made the comment that, she had moved on, and kept asking him why it was so easy for him. Why is this so easy for you? Because she was emotionally confused. She said that there were sparks flying. Well, anyway, she ran off saying they can't be friends, they can't talk as friends right now. And he said, I understand, and he was confident about it. And that, people, is what needs to happen. You love your ex, trust me, I understand. You do. But you have to come across, and it's not a trick, it's not a manipulation. You have to know in your head that you're going to be okay, even if it doesn't work out. That's what this kid did. He knows he's going to be okay, and he gives that off. And it took her by surprise, because your ex may be expecting you to be this, pile of gel on the floor, just, going nuts because you can't get them back. And he didn't do that. I have other similar letters, and I'm going to start reading some of these emails out. I'm going to start reading some of these emails on my videos just to kind of show you what's happening. But a lot of these people that I've talked to, I've got tons of emails, and they're improving themselves. They're working on themselves, and they're becoming better and stronger and more confident and whatnot. Not arrogant. That's not good. Just very confident. And he gave off that air that, I'm going to be okay. You're right. Probably for the best that we broke up, because things had gotten bad, and it took her by surprise. I have not heard back from him since then. I know he's going to be okay. I haven't heard back. I hope that he writes me back and says, hey, they're back together and everything is wonderful. I'd love to hear that. But I also know that if that doesn't happen, he's going to be okay, because he's on a good path, because he followed some steps and he started to work on himself, and he spent time working on himself rather than worrying about a relationship that may or may not happen. So that's what I wanted to tell you tonight, folks. Work on yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do out there. What works for me might not work for you. But find some things that you're interested in. Find some things, not distractions necessarily, but find some things that you're interested in. Learn something new. Spend some time taking care of number one for a while. And if you do that, that confidence, that composure will come to you. And if you do run into your ex, or your ex does contact you, you'll come out of a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness. You will have a stronger hand to play. So that's all I got, folks. Jim Miller, helping you find and keep the love of your life. Write a better love story. Again, smash the subscribe button. Check the description below the video. There are some free ebooks that I give away down there, as well as my personal email address if you have a relationship question that you don't want to throw in the comments. Until next time, folks, have a great night.